It was a typical Tuesday evening in the quiet suburban town of Oakdale, California. Shoppers were leaving the Target store at around 9 p.m. on October 26, 2020, completely unaware of the shocking discovery that would soon unfold. The parking lot, once filled with the hum of cars and chatter of pedestrians, was now eerily silent. But it wasn't just the atmosphere that had changed. A horrific crime scene had been uncovered in plain sight. The initial reports came flooding in at 9:14 p.m., with dispatchers scrambling to make sense of the chaos unfolding before them. First responders arrived on the scene within minutes, but what they found was nothing short of shocking. A young woman, later identified as 25-year-old Emily Wilson, lay motionless in her car, a victim of a brutal and seemingly premeditated attack. As investigators began to survey the area, it became clear that this wasn't just any ordinary crime scene. The absence of signs of forced entry or struggle suggested that the perpetrator may have had access to the parking lot before committing the crime. Eyewitnesses reported seeing a figure fleeing the scene in a dark-colored sedan, but no description was provided. The investigation is still ongoing, with detectives working tirelessly to piece together the events leading up to Emily's tragic death. Theories abound, ranging from a random act of violence to a more sinister plot, but one thing is certain: this heinous crime has left the community reeling in shock and terror. As we continue to delve deeper into the case, one question remains at the forefront: what led to the brutal murder of Emily Wilson in that quiet Target parking lot on that fateful Tuesday evening? On that fateful Tuesday evening, October 26, 2020, at approximately 9 p.m., the parking lot of Target in Oakdale, California, was bustling with activity. Shoppers had been pouring out of the store all evening, some carrying bags, others lugging shopping carts filled to the brim with purchases. The quiet suburban town, known for its friendly residents and picturesque streets, was unprepared for what was about to unfold. Eyewitnesses reported seeing a group of police cars arrive at the scene within minutes of the first 911 call being made by a concerned citizen who had witnessed the initial discovery. Officer James Wilson, one of the first responders on the scene, would later recall that it took his team only 2 minutes to secure the area and cordon off the crime scene. The victim, identified as 32-year-old Sarah Lee, a local resident with no known enemies or prior police history, lay lifeless in her car. According to initial reports, Lee had been parked in the northwest corner of the lot, near the entrance of the store's pharmacy department. Her car, a silver Honda Civic, was found with its engine still running and the headlights shining brightly into the night. Police investigators were quick to note that there were no signs of forced entry or struggle at the scene. The only indication of foul play was a single bullet wound to Lee's chest, which would later be determined to have been inflicted by a 9mm handgun. Further examination of the vehicle revealed a set of keys still in the ignition and a partially filled shopping cart nearby, containing several items purchased from the Target store just hours before. As investigators began processing the crime scene, they discovered a series of surveillance cameras positioned around the parking lot, which would later prove to be crucial in unraveling the events leading up to Lee's tragic death. As investigators began to process the crime scene, a disturbing picture emerged. The victim, later identified as 32-year-old Sarah Jenkins, was found lying motionless in the parking lot near aisle 3. Initial reports indicated that she had been shot multiple times at close range, with what appeared to be a small-caliber handgun. The sheer brutality of the attack sent shockwaves through the community. Further examination revealed that Sarah's car, a silver Honda Civic, was parked nearby, still running, as if she had been about to leave when the assailant struck. A review of security footage from the Target store showed no sign of forced entry or struggle, suggesting that Sarah may have known her attacker. Police reviewed hundreds of hours of footage from surrounding businesses and cameras in the area, but none captured a clear image of the perpetrator. Investigators did, however, discover a suspicious transaction on one of the parking lot's security cameras. At 9:05 p.m., approximately 5 minutes before the discovery of Sarah's body, a person using a black SUV with tinted windows was seen circling the parking lot multiple times. Detectives later confirmed that this vehicle belonged to local resident and convicted felon, Michael Lee. According to public records, Lee had been released from prison just 6 months prior to the incident on a parole violation for armed robbery. This new lead sent investigators scrambling, as they worked tirelessly to track down Lee's whereabouts and piece together the events of that fateful evening. The discovery of this security footage marked a critical turning point in the investigation, prompting authorities to take a closer look at Michael Lee's potential involvement in Sarah's murder. As detectives dug deeper into his alibi and past activities, they began to uncover a web of deceit and motives that would leave them questioning everything they thought they knew about the case. As investigators began to process the scene, they were met with a stark reality: the brutality and efficiency of the crime. The victim, identified as 32-year-old Sarah Jenkins, a mother of 2 from Oakdale, had been brutally stabbed multiple times, with evidence suggesting she was attacked just steps away from her vehicle in the crowded parking lot. The investigation revealed that Sarah had arrived at Target around 8:45 p.m. to pick up groceries for dinner. She parked near the entrance and began shopping, returning to her car around 9:10 p.m. That's when eyewitnesses reported hearing a commotion coming from behind her vehicle. When police responded to the scene, they found Sarah lying in a pool of blood on the pavement. Experts have stated that the attacker likely chose this location for its high visibility and accessibility, as well as the time of day when crowds were thickest. The motive, however, remains unclear. As detectives continue to sift through evidence and re-interview witnesses, they are focusing on identifying any potential security cameras that may have captured footage of the perpetrator. Meanwhile, Sarah's family is still grappling with the sudden loss of their loved one. Her husband, Tom, spoke publicly about the devastating impact this tragedy has had on their community, saying, "We're not just mourning the loss of our daughter, but also trying to make sense of it all." The outpouring of support from neighbors and fellow Target shoppers has been overwhelming, with many setting up memorial funds in Sarah's name. This heinous crime has left a dark stain on the otherwise quiet suburban town of Oakdale. As investigators work tirelessly to piece together the events of that fateful night, residents are demanding answers about how this could have happened in their very own backyard. As detectives and forensic experts began to process the scene, a chilling pattern started to emerge. Eyewitnesses described seeing a young woman, later identified as 28-year-old Emily Wilson, walking briskly towards her car around 8:45 p.m. However, when security footage was reviewed, it revealed that Emily's vehicle had been tampered with, the tires were slashed, and the ignition wires were cut. The police investigation led them to a suspicious character lurking in the shadows near the parking lot entrance. Witnesses reported seeing a man matching the description of 32-year-old Ryan Jenkins, a frequent Target patron. Ryan's alibi for the time of the incident checked out, but further digging uncovered a disturbing connection. He had previously been involved in a minor altercation with Emily at the store just 3 days prior. A review of security footage from surrounding cameras revealed that Ryan was indeed near Emily's car around 8:50 p.m., shortly after she arrived. He claimed to have simply been checking on his own vehicle, but the inconsistencies in his story sparked intense scrutiny. Detectives discovered a cryptic text message exchange between Ryan and an unknown number, which seemed to hint at a sinister plot. As the investigation reached a critical juncture, police obtained a search warrant for Ryan's residence. Upon executing the warrant, they found evidence of a makeshift lockpick set, which raised suspicions about Ryan's involvement in Emily's disappearance. The forensic analysis revealed that the lockpicks were used on multiple occasions to gain unauthorized access to vehicles within the Target parking lot. As the investigation continues to unfold, the people of Oakdale are left reeling from the devastating discovery. The crime scene in the Target parking lot has exposed a dark underbelly to their quiet suburban town, forcing them to confront the harsh reality that evil can lurk even in the most seemingly idyllic communities. Detective Jameson and his team have been working tirelessly to piece together the events of that fateful evening. They've reviewed hours of security footage, interviewed multiple witnesses, and processed evidence from the scene. So far, they've identified a suspect, 32-year-old Oakdale resident, Michael Thompson, who was seen leaving the store around 8:45 p.m. However, as Detective Jameson would be the first to admit, this case is far